silence your cell phones as we get our press conference underway. Flash photography and video of any kind of the press conference is prohibited. If you have a question, please raise your hand and wait to be called on. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question. If you are joining on Zoom, use the raise hand function for questions, and we will address those questions at the end if time allows. All right, at this time, we are joined by University of Connecticut student athletes AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong. We will now take questions for the student athletes. Please wait for the microphone and state your name and media affiliation before your question. Questions for the student athletes. Front right.
Jim Fuller, Associated Press. Can you guys just talk about how your on-court partnership has grown from this point, from this year or last year?
I mean, I would say it's grown a lot. I feel more comfortable playing around AZ and playing alongside with her. I know kind of what she likes the ball, what she likes to do with it, and trying to make the right reads off of her. So I feel like we've gotten a lot better at doing that.
I agree. Exactly what she said. I think we've just gotten more comfortable playing together, playing off each other, knowing what the other person likes, their tendencies, when they're going to cut, where they're going to cut, when to get out of Sarah's way and let her do her thing. So it's been a lot of fun.
Questions for the student athletes.
Nice.
Front right.
Just your thoughts on the preparation coming in, first round. How's it been looking in practice, and what's the team mood right now?
Yeah, I mean, this last, what's been like a week and a half since Big East has been really nice because we've gotten to focus on ourselves, focus on fine-tuning things, working on offense or defense, just little things you don't necessarily get time to work on mid-season when you're constantly going from game to game and always focusing on scouts. So getting some time to really work on us and what we need to going into this postseason, I think was really important.
Sarah, would you like to answer that as well?
No, she kind of had everything.
Okay. Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay. Thank you for your time and good luck tomorrow. All right, at this time, we are joined by University
Use that, so I'm pouring it in here.
joined by University of Connecticut head coach Gino Auriemma. We will begin with an opening statement from Coach and then open it up for questions.
I'm sure I'll answer or I'll explain or have something to explain when I start answering questions. So why don't we get started?
All right, we'll now take questions for Coach. Please wait for the microphone and state your name and media affiliation before your question. Questions for Coach? Front right.
Tommy Birch, Des Moines Register coach. I was just kind of wondering, what was it like seeing that Coach Fenley was going to be in the same size you, and do you have any good stories? Because obviously you guys go way, way back.
Yeah, I think this is the third time that we've been in the same. We may have been in the same bracket other times. I have no idea, but the third time where there's a direct connection between us playing, and from 1991 to 2001 to, well, I'm sorry, 1998 to today, which for as many times as they've been in the NCAA tournament, it's kind of not a lot, for the success that they've had, and we go back to when he was an assistant at Notre Dame, which there's a special place in heaven for him. Yeah, we've known each other a long time, and we played him last year. Yeah, I guess you can't avoid, matchups that could possibly happen, between people that you know very well. Yeah, the stories that involve Bill and myself, those are probably best left for when we're both retired. But I have a lot of respect for him and his program and his, his family, and it's, I coached against Karen when she was at Texas, and then in the other game, I recruited Felicia coming out of high school, and you got Bill. So I guess if you stay around long enough, you get to experience all of it.
Other questions for Coach? We'll go front right.
Just talking to Blanca and Yana as roommates, international players. I guess first of all, how are they as roommates? Would you say?
Blanca and who?
And Yana, and what's the transition when you're coming from another country? You don't. This isn't your first language, and how do you handle that and making sure that they adapt to the student life first before you throw too much basketball stuff at them?
Believe it or not, I think sometimes the international kids have an easier time adapting to college than the homegrown ones. There seems to be a tremendous level of confidence, independence, self-awareness for the most part, commitment. They're here for a reason. They're very driven, and their English is really, really good, better than good. In Blanca's case, obviously, she's got the Ecuador and Italy and now the U.S. I've never had an international kid come here and not be those things I just said. So it's a pleasure to have them around. The players enjoy their company. They bring a whole different perspective to the locker room. there's a certain maturity about them, having lived on their own for a long time, the independence that they have. I think they bring an awful lot to a team that's quite different than what you get on a daily basis.
Other questions for Coach? We'll go back left.
Jake McCrevin for the Daily Campus. Coach, obviously you're accustomed to hosting these first and second round games here, but how do you keep your team's attention kind of grounded in Storrs and not in Dallas or Phoenix, knowing that this team has aspirations to, win another championship?
We were having a discussion this morning with some people about how much more difficult it is now to harness that concentration, that focus. There's two sides to this. The one side is hard to get them to concentrate on the same thing for 15 minutes, right? When you think about it, even me, you, anybody, like we're so I'm guessing them thinking about Fort Worth or beyond probably only lasts about 30 seconds, and then they're on to something different. So hopefully I'm hoping for that. But all we can do is just keep reminding them that whatever they think is in the future isn't going to happen if you don't take care of, the present. That's all. And you have to hope that the players that have been there already can explain to them this is how it goes. And maybe more games they watch on TV and see how close some people do get to knocked out. I mean, there haven't been any women's games except for a couple, the first 4 games. But you saw some of the men's games last night, and you see what can happen in the NCAA tournament. And big shout out to the whole Martelli family down there in Richmond. God bless them, and what they did last night was incredible. So, yeah, I think that's a reminder to everybody.
We'll go on the left here.
Hey, Coach T. Baker with the 9 Sports. Last year, the narrative was really about Pages last year, and obviously the media sort of clung on to that and had that ending that, everyone sort of wanted to see. Do you feel like the pressure this year is less because there's less of that narrative surrounding one particular player, or is it just kind of a different pressure?
Yeah, that's interesting too. Last year, I think it was eventually the narrative was, let's win one for Paige, like let's win one for Paige. It's Paige. Let's win one for Paige. And I think a lot of the other players that they hadn't won a national championship either. Like none of them had. But we made it, not we, all of us collectively, maybe naturally it became, Paige. So that happens. But in reality, each of those players that played in that game that are back got to experience something for the very first time, So this year, the pressure is losing the National Player of the Year and having to go back and do the exact same thing. That's, I think, a part that gets sometimes just glossed over. Don't worry about it. I don't know about that. Somebody said, would you rather have the pressure of getting Paige another one, or would you rather have the pressure of winning one without the best player in the country last year, in addition to the 2 players that we had that could be the best player in the country this year? Whoever knows. I would say I would take last year's pressure over this year's pressure. But pressure and UConn go together. It's there every time. All I can do is And I do. Just address it for what it is and move on. I think that the fact that they have to deal with that from the minute they step on campus, I think helps them during these times.
Any other questions for Coach?
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, Coach, and good luck tomorrow.
You're welcome.